Okay, now we're going to get into a segment that we like to call Sam Presents Ass Media. Hey, Ass Media is a play on the term mass media, and it is when I give book, TV, podcast, film reviews that relate to sex, love, dating, and or gender, and they're typically spoiler-free reviews. And yesterday, I watched a film called Juanita. I don't know why I put so much accent on it, but I felt like it deserved it. That's not how she pronounced it in the film, but here we are. Akua also watched it. Akua will be chiming in with thoughts, and I'll be doing the whatever the fuck that is. I'll be doing I'll be leading the discussion. Okay, so Juanita is an American. Oh, first of all, thank you to Cherry, who suggested that I watch this and review it for Ass Media, and sent me a happy birthday message via email on my birthday at 1:39 p.m. Thank you, Cherry. That was very sweet of you. And was like, also watch Ass Media though. I mean, watch Juanita for Ass Media. So the synopsis. Juanita is an American drama film directed by Clark Johnson from a screenplay by Roderick M. Spencer based upon the novel Dancing on the Edge of the Roof by Sheila Williams. It stars Alfre Woodard and Adam Beach. It was released on March 18, 2019 by Netflix, and I did not know it existed all this time. Fun facts, Roderick Spencer and Alfre Woodard are married. So he was writing his little screenplay and shit, and he was like, my wife gonna be in this. I like that. Also, aside from Adam Beach, who is an indigenous actor, everyone who I just mentioned is Black. So yay. So the synopsis. Fed up with her life, a woman leaves her grown kids behind and hits the road in search of a fresh start. And that was the only synopsis that I could find. And I was like, that wasn't a very good synopsis. So then I just looked up another synopsis and it was equally short, but I'm just going to read both of them. So the other synopsis is, let's do this freaking silly thing with my computer. Oh, there we go. The other synopsis is a Columbus, Ohio woman takes a Greyhound bus to Butte, Montana, where she reinvents herself and meets an interesting cast of characters at a French restaurant. So my short review is that watching this film really brought me joy. It is a story about a middle-aged woman who sets off to find herself, which I think is a common story at this point, but it's still a very valid story to tell, especially when it exists for Black women specifically. And it exists within the nuances of Black and indigenous life, which is very enjoyable and just good to see. It's humorous and surreal in ways that made me feel free watching it, and it's a breath of fresh air from the you're old and you're Black and you're washed up narrative that Tyler Perry gives a lot. I would say in general society gives a lot, but Tyler Perry gives a lot.
He does.
I'll talk about that a little bit later. Some themes include self-discovery, self-actualization, family, community, fear, resentment, Black and indigenous life, incarceration, freedom, monotony, and talking about some things that I like in order that they appeared. So the exposition of the film is told through drawings. Another film began like this that I reviewed on the show, but I don't remember the name of it. I think it's called The Half of It. But yeah, I just like that. It's cute. But in this film, those drawings, it's like a series of like flip book drawings that describe her life. It details what led the character to the point where we start the film and the trauma that she's endured. But I like the drawings because it was nice to not have to see that trauma. I'm not trying to see that shit. Not right now. I'm not trying to see that shit. Alfre Woodard in general, who Akua's, what did you think her name was? Ellie? Eileen,
yes.
It's very funny to me still.
Hilarious.
I like Alfre Woodard in general. I've loved her since Crooklyn, which is one of my all-time favorite films. Another thing I like about this is that she speaks to the camera in the movie. Like, she breaks the fourth wall, and that reminds me of some moments that happened in Crooklyn, so that was nice. The film is very surreal. It breaks the fourth wall and also plays with space and time a bit. Some notable moments of that include like she's on the Greyhound bus and all of a sudden the song and dance number break out on the Greyhound bus. Also, a fun thing that happens in the movie is that Blair Underwood is just randomly her imaginary friend / lover, and whenever she like thinks about him, like the room goes pink. And then it's like all bow chicka wow wow. You get like a shirtless ain't shit Blair Underwood, because you know he's not shit in anything that he's in. That's not even a spoiler. He's never shit. And then one time, like, he gets on her nerves in the imaginary session, and like there's a lamp in the room, and she like removes the pink blanket off the lamp, and the room goes back to regular. I just thought that was like cute. And then also the freedom and silliness of her imagination, because she just has like a really free and silly imagination. Like her life is rough, all that we know about it, and it seems stifling, but the freedom of her imagination juxtaposes nicely with the stifling nature of her life. So she feels stuck, but she has this imaginary space that she can go into, and like anything can happen. She's just an enjoyable character to watch. I love a good tired y'all shit, I'm not holding my tongue anymore, Black mama. It's just what I aspire to be one day, mama or not. I know that I'll be tired of y'all shit, and I will begin to not hold my tongue. She can laugh at things that bring her discomfort and pain, which is very, very cathartic in real life, and nice to see a character do that, especially a Black character, especially juxtaposed to like Tyler Perry films. I'm sorry, I just have to keep bringing that up. Here's the part where I do bring it up. So she's a change agent as opposed to a subject of the story. Like her actions drive the story forward as opposed to things constantly being done onto her. So here's the big hurrah. I unfortunately watched Tyler Perry's Fall from Grace on Netflix a couple of weeks ago, and that is one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my entire life.
Oh no.
I thought that it would be like, because I heard it was really bad, so I thought that it would be at least be funny bad, but it was just.
Wait, which one is the Fall from Grace? Which one is the Fall from Grace?
That's the one with Claire Huxtable in it.
Okay, let's go.
That fucking depressed the shit out of me. So that movie, like, you can say they have similar beginnings. It's a woman of a certain age, middle age, single, being done wrong by #these niggas. And Fall from Grace is just like, these niggas just keep being not shit to her, and she's just in a very dark place, and like she's in prison, and her wig is like, they just couldn't even bother to like sit her wig down. I know in real life her wig would at least be sitting. Come on. I know they got those fucking Sophia Bursets up in prison who will do your hair for you. It was just a horrible, it just made me so sad. It made me so sad to watch. And I know that I've mentioned that I've been in a sad space, and I watched that in that sad space, and I was just like, life is bleak, man.
Yeah, no, that's what it leaves you. I feel like when we're so young and have endured so much trauma through dating, and then to watch this older woman enduring more trauma, it's like, do I have hope?
Thank you for saying that. Like, that's exactly how I feel. That's exactly what it made me feel like.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like, oh, child.
There ain't nothing to look forward to in my life.
They gonna keep beating and abusing you. They gonna send you to jail. Like, yo.
Woo, that was a horrible movie. Fuck, man. Anyway, so hated watching that.
Horrible.
But Juanita, I feel like, is the antithesis of that. So one, we don't see the trauma. We know that it's happened, but we don't see the trauma. And the movie is immediately her just like, yo, I gotta be out of here. Y'all are getting on my motherfucking nerves. Like, and it just drives forward, and it keeps driving forward. Oh, thank you for validating that. God, that movie made me feel like shit.
No, it does. It
so bad. Oh boy, back to Juanita. The movie in general just made me laugh, which I like to do. It was nice to see a Black woman solo traveling, because that's what she does, being nurtured, valued, acknowledged, and respected, rather than met with misogyny, assault, and racism. And like, none of that happened. Like, it could have, and none of that. Like, she meets people along the way. She meets white people, and white people do not be the best to us.
At all.
But there was never any like, oh, who's that? Or like, it was nothing of the sort. And that was very, very refreshing to see. And not even them not doing that to her, but them being like, oh, Juanita, we're going to miss you. Come back soon. And all that kind of shit. Oh, that was nice. There's a character named Peaches, who is a queer white dyke who allows for queerness to exist openly in middle America. I think the movie, the majority of it takes place in Montana. So I like seeing her there, and she's not the butt of gay. She's also a woman of size. She's not the butt of gay or fat jokes. She's just existing and also being nice to the main character as a white woman from Montana. And like, if I thought of a white woman from Montana, I would just assume that she would be mean to me. So it was nice to see Peaches not be mean to her. Juanita meets a man. His name is Jess. He's a chef and he's Native American, and they have a cute chemistry. It was nice to see Black and Indigenous love on screen. It was nice to see Black and Indigenous love from people who are not like 20 on screen. I'm not sure if I've ever seen either of those things on screen. And also, Jess could get it. He was kind of hot to me, so I would fuck that man. There's one moment where Juanita calls Google the Google, and I felt like that was just perfect baby boomer writing, because that is literally what my dad calls it every single time. And it's like, I know you guys know that it's not called that. You're just doing it on purpose. Like,
you're doing it on purpose.
You're trying to signify that you're a baby boomer, and it's like, I know. I know how old you are. This film deals with in the house business in a way that I appreciated. So when I say in the house business, I'm meaning to say issues within communities of people like Black folks or Indigenous folks that are painful, but a part of our experiences, and that maybe like your grandma or something like that would say, man, that's in the house business. Like, we don't have to show that for audiences that can access this. And this is like not a film that's on BET or anything like that. Like, this is on Netflix. Anybody can watch it. So someone coming from a respectable point of view might say, like, don't put that type of thing in the movie. So some examples of that are the fact that a large part of Juanita's story is that one of her kids is incarcerated, and the other two kids are kind of just like ain't shit kind of kids. Like, they're into like they're just irresponsible, I'll say. And that could feed into all kinds of stereotypes that are placed upon us, but it also is rooted in things that are existing in actuality. Another thing that was way less fleshed out, but a Native character in the film has alcoholism, and another character alludes to the fact that alcoholism is a epidemic in Native communities. Like, she makes a comment that just seemed like you wouldn't want white people, or you wouldn't like engage with that conversation in front of white people. Which is like, fuck white people. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to add to that in that it's alluded that the Native character also has PTSD from serving as a veteran, and that's a narrative that's never talked about, how Indigenous people have also served this country and endured trauma for this country, as they're also being traumatized by this country.
That's a really good fucking point. Yeah, I didn't flesh that out in my mind. I was just like, he was a veteran? And then that's where like my cognitive just stopped, because it was like, it's never talked about. So I was just like, oh, wow. I didn't even think that was a thing that happened. But yeah, that's a really good point to bring up. So yeah, I like the fact that the film deals with quote unquote in the house business. Just because it's a film that everyone can see doesn't mean we can't address things that we really go through. I appreciate that the in the house business isn't exploited or stereotypical or without nuance. It's not like the character who has alcoholism is only an alcoholic, and it's not like her kids, who one of them is incarcerated and the others who are irresponsible. It's not only who they are. And it's not only her story either. She's not like a broken Black woman who's just like, my son is in jail. So yeah, it's a part of their lives, but not the entirety of their lives. They're not archetypes or anything like that. I like the fact that there's an exchange between people of different cultures. So when you have a movie like this, I didn't see Eat, Pray, Love, but I'm going to use Eat, Pray, Love as an example. And I know that she goes, I believe, to India. Does she go to India? Am I making that up?
Girl, I don't know what happened in that.
Imagine she doesn't go to India at all. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Well, anyway, there's common tropes, and one of the tropes is like the white savior narrative. And I feel like Alfre Woodard, even though she is not white, even though she's a Black woman, could have been placed onto that narrative. And there's also the narrative of, oh, I'm a white person. Once again, Alfre Woodard is not white, but that doesn't mean that like tropes that are rooted in whiteness can't be placed onto Black characters. So there's also a common trope that it's like, I'm this one kind of person. I'm from America. I'm very in my ways, and I go to this foreign ethnic land, and I'm invigorated by this foreign ethnic land, and they make me a better person, and I could give fuck all. I just go off of my business and don't contribute out back to this community. I don't have a film in mind that does that, but in my head it was Eat, Pray, Love, and I'm so sorry if that did not. Sorry, Julia Roberts. So I don't think this film is either of those things. It's not a savior film, and it's not I'm using a race of people to grow up film. To me, Juanita brings things into the lives of the indigenous people that she's building community with, and they do the same. And then like really want to highlight the fact that I just said like building community with. It's not like she's like extracting or anything like that. Like they really formed like a bond in a family, and not just with the nigga who she was like romantically linked to.
No, like I want to
Okay.
add. Oh no, this might be a spoiler. Never mind.
Okay.
But yeah, she was very immediately accepted into the fold.
She
like,
was, yeah.
She got there, boom. She was one, like literally 2 seconds later,
Yeah.
she's in there with him. Like she's
That's
in
true.
the game with him.
Yeah, she was immediately accepted and also immediately gave a part of herself to them. So like
labor.
Yeah, there's that exchange there. Another scene where I think this could have been done poorly, but I don't think that it was. And if anybody indigenous has seen this, once again, but I'm Black, Aku is Black. We have not had lived indigenous experience lives. So if anything, any of this is like, actually that was exploitative, I'm very open to like folks letting us know. But there's a powwow scene, and I think a scene like that can very much have been taken as I'm this kind of person, and this is a new foreign exotic race of people, and I'm such a refreshed new person from this. And I don't think that's what it was at all. So Juanita finds healing during that scene. So like there's like a little take element, but she also like helps to cook and embraces people. And like there's another scene where her love interest, I'm not sure what I think they're making music and dancing together, and she kind of just watches and lets it happen. And the camera is like not like all like, oh, what does Juanita think about this? It's more so about what they're doing as a culture of people. So it was like a nice back and forth as opposed to all sides in one direction. Also, I really like the music in the powwow scene, and I just liked watching the powwow scene. I don't think I've ever seen something like that taken with that kind of care from something that I've watched, which would be a mainstream thing, probably not made by a indigenous filmmaker ever. So and that's just because I haven't seen many things by indigenous filmmakers. So there's that. I like the fact that the story and Juanita's growth doesn't hinge on the romance, and that's like made pretty clear in the film. And that even though it's a romance movie, it's also a lot of communal love on full display. So it's not just her being loved by a man, but being loved by mad people.
Or even that her finding herself is contingent upon finding this love from this man. It was very much like, this is a part, but I'm still doing me.
Exactly. Yeah. I like that. Things I didn't like, which is a lot shorter than the list of things I did like, but are still worth addressing. So Juanita's daughter has a child out of wedlock at 19 and moves in for, I guess, economic and like childcare support. She's also unmotivated and doesn't have a job. I think those two things can definitely exist outside of each other. However, in the film, Juanita at least 2 or 3 times just calls her daughter a hoe and says like she just wants to be a hoe, and I wasn't even sure what that meant. So it's not out of character for anybody to do this, given how society views women, but it's not out of character for a mom to do this. But I feel like it just deserved more nuance and care. And I think the story itself was an uplifting story about a Black woman, and in that process did disservice to a story of a young Black woman, which wasn't our main focus of the story, but I just didn't think that disservice needed to be done. Like she can critique her daughter's lack of motivation and responsibility without reducing and conflating her daughter to she didn't want to be a hoe. So that was like kind of whack. Sometimes the writing and the acting could have been a bit more solid, a little bit less corny. There was a couple of moments of this, but I'm not a stickler for it, so that's fine. Also, the sex scene left a lot to be desired, and the noises were odd to me. Did you have thoughts about that? I was just like, what noises are they making? Granted, everybody's sex is different, but I was just very curious about what that was.
I feel like, so yes, the sex scene did leave a lot to be desired. And especially because this is maybe one of the first times I'm watching an interracial, interethnic couple that isn't centered in whiteness. Like neither one of them is white. I'm watching a Black and indigenous people get it on. I want to see it, you know?
I do want to see
like,
it.
I want to see
I
it,
would
all
like
of
to
it.
see it.
Because I don't get to see it that often.
Yeah.
But I feel like the noises she was making was to kind of point to the fact that she's older. Like,
it felt like an inexperienced noise, or like a what is going on over there kind of like.
Yeah, or kind of hinting to the fact that she hasn't done this in a while.
Yeah.
Like, and haven't done this in a while because she's older. And I didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Because Juanita got 3 kids. She know how to put it
down. First of all, she has 3 kids. She know how to put it down. But second of all, she's having all these goddamn Blair Underwood fantasies. I know she got a big old rabbit in that fucking nightstand, nigga. Like, come on.
Because when she had the pink scarf over the lamp, whenever she calls Blair, she's setting the mood for something, and we know what that something is. So Juanita, she know what she's doing. She be
rocking her shit, bro.
Don't make it seem like she breaking a hip in there and not willingly, or to do so.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. So those are the parts about the film that I didn't like. One additional thought and then a wrap up. I just want to say fuck Netflix for never telling me this existed. I feel like this is the second time y'all buried indigenous stories because you didn't tell me about Chambers, which I really fucking enjoyed. And they canceled Chambers. So honestly, I'm ready to fight Netflix. And then my last thing is just like, it was a fun, silly, exploratory story of self-actualization with some romance, and it was just really pleasant to watch.
I want to double down on that fuck Netflix, because we've talked about how you don't engage with the app, but I engage with the app, and it was definitely something that should have been suggested to me. Like when I clicked on it, it was like 98% match. So you knew I would like it. Right. Where has it been?
Where is that? Where they at though?
When I'm on Netflix trying to find something new with all these white ass people, you couldn't show me Juanita. You knew I would like Juanita.
You knew I would like Juanita. You knew I would like Juanita. Fuck, man.
And I don't like that Netflix.
You've seen me type Crooklyn up into Netflix before.
It should have said other things with Alice, what's her name? Alfre Woodard in it. Sorry, Alfre. I'm sorry, girl.
Netflix is like, Akua don't even know Alfre Woodard's name. We not gonna
bad. But I can't be, okay? Sorry, Alfre. But it definitely could have said other things featuring Alfre Woodard, or other things featuring a strong Black lead, or
right. Also, during that whole, and I don't know where the fuck that went. It's been a month, y'all. But that whole fucking, this is Black Lives Matter, like that whole thing, and it was just like, here's all the protest stuff and the stuff about social justice for white people to watch, even though Black people have already watched this shit, so y'all can learn. But like, also in Black Lives Matter, give my Black life some fucking joy. When all the uprising started, and I was just like, yo, the world is fucking fucked up. I'm so tired of this shit. I would have loved to have watched Juanita.
Exactly.
Just to get my mind off of things.
Where was that? Y'all should have been suggesting me films that depict Black joy at all ages, at all points of life, so that I got something to indulge and make me feel better. That's what y'all should have been giving us. A list of that too.
I guess thank you for Moesha.
And stop suggesting Moesha for me. Stop it. Stop.
Were you not a fan of Moesha? I'm curious about why you're that angry.
No, Sam. And I'm this angry because nothing else has been recommended to the point where when I finish it, Moesha just starts playing. I don't press play or nothing. It just assumes I'm about to watch Moesha next. No, I haven't typed this in. I didn't ask for this. Why you keep trying to throw it down my damn throat? Why Netflix? And you could throw Moesha down my throat, but you didn't think Juanita needs to be shoved down my throat?
That's a fact. Juanita it can't just be one thing.
You had Moesha on for a week on your platform, but Juanita been here
for a full year.
Exactly. 18 months.
Yeah.
Why didn't I know about? Why wasn't Juanita playing every time I ended something? But Moesha is. Get out my face. That's why I'm mad.
Fix your blood clot algorithms is what we're trying to say right now.
That's what we're trying to say, Netflix. And show me things where Black women are getting some motherfucking joy.
Yeah. Need that. But praise be to Alfre Woodard. Thank you to the woman who wrote this book. Shout out to Alfre Woodard's husband for writing the screenplay and the dude who directed it.